Hey everyone, it's Arthur here at Arthur Ease Your Mind on YouTube. What, you thought we were going to start on time? That's a joke. And I've got my other computer in the background going, and I've got to turn that off. I do that every time. Anyway, it's a senior or blonde moment. You decide. And there we go. Okay, hi. Sorry for the distraction, but squirrel. Anyway, so welcome for joining. And it's Sunday. It's the 21st. It's 3:40 here in Los Angeles. The weather's in the about 80s and slightly overcast, but it's still nice. So that's where it is here. So in the meantime, real quick, we've got our housekeeping, but of course, thank you for being here. I wanted to say thank you to all the subscribers, the old, new, and those that are going to join later today. And the members, our members are great. Plus, we have Walter and we have Sherry in the background with helping me with questions, and also the moderators. Thank you for being here. It takes a village. And here's the idiot. So anyway, today is Sunday, and the Sunday shows are all about politics and world events. So we ask that you put your questions in capitalizations. That way it's easy for like an old man like me to read it and separate them. And it's for entertainment purposes only. We're not doing personal questions. However, I will be doing a show on Tuesday this week with Valerie, and that'll be personal questions. And also with Marina on Wednesday, again, personal questions. So if you want to stop by, you can do that. Check my posts. I have my calendar scheduled. And tomorrow I am taping a show with the one, the only Linda G. So that's going to be fun. So we've got a heavy week. So in the meantime, tonight, though, is about politics. Also, speaking of Valerie, just put it out there. We do an event once a month on one Saturday. October's booked, and we have openings for November 15th, Saturday. It's a 1-hour Zoom event with myself and Valerie giving 10-minute readings for each person. And it ends up being an incredible like prayer circle, and everybody gets involved with everybody's stuff. And it's really fun, but no Mrs. Kravitz's, so it's even better. And just for rule of thumb, please don't ask me to validate or refute other psychics. Just have to put that out there. Now, in the meantime, people always ask me, what can we do with what's going on here politically? First of all, mark your calendars. October 18th, Saturday, is No King's Day. So I would say check nokings.org. You put in your zip code. It'll tell you what events are happening around you and where and what times. And there's also, of course, 5calls.org. to get to your representatives. And even though you say, well, my representative is Democrat, still, they keep a tally. Okay? Same thing with the Congressional Switchboard, 202-224-3121. And this is an interesting one. Goods Unite Us. It's an app. It tells you who donates to who. And it can be scary. Also, truthalliance.org. Keep track of the people that are counting the votes, like in Pennsylvania, Michigan, other places. It's not done, okay? So that is that for housekeeping, okay? So again, thank you for being here. And we've got lots of questions. One thing I before we started the show, I was talking with Valerie, right? With Walter and Sherry, is I asked them, we're shying away from anything that comes across as being conspiratorial. We don't want to go there. And anything to do with the Charlie Kirk, there's just too much out there there's too much disinformation. And in fact, I know a lot of people were upset that I didn't cover it last week, but a lot of people said, good, I'm getting tired of hearing about it. But also, I did get a couple comments, and I just want to tell people that tried to put me down for not going to Kirk that I was spineless. And one person actually called me the P word. Oh, you're such a... Yeah, right. Well, we'll just grab you by it. So that was very unfair. This is my show. If you don't like it, don't try and bully me into answering the questions that I'm not going to answer, okay? You can go elsewhere. Now that I got that out of the way, we've got questions. So let's get to some questions. All right? Hi, Barbie. Hello, Arthur. What will happen to social media owners and old media owners after Dumpty is gone? Will they have to break up their monopolies and pay higher taxes? Good question. Yes. Actually, I was going to say, but let's hope by the time he does go to Great Beyond that everything's not owned by one person or two people. But it will be broken apart. It really will be. Hi, Shell Street. I owe you an email. It's going out tomorrow, so don't go crazy. Hi, Shell. Will the U.S. ever get rid of antiquated electoral college? Thank you. Yes. Yes, they will. Not as soon as I would like, but I feel by 2030. No later than... It might be 2028, but in I'm getting some about 2030. It'll be a thing of the past. Okay? Katrina, hi, Arthur. Thank you for sharing your time with us. And thank you for wasting your time with me. Just kidding. How will Trump leave the office? On his own, removed by the military, or dead, or carried out? That's kind of being specific. Why don't we just say he's going to leave? And it's a big surprise. But I've always felt there may be a gurney and handcuffs involved. So let's just see what happens. All right, but he's going to be leaving. And just hear the song Spirit in the Sky, so hint, hint. Hi, Katie. Melania seems to be around DT more lately. What does she think about the process and booing he has been getting? Thanks. She doesn't care less. You know, as long as she has money to pay for those... I swear she's going to the same people. It's nice that she's reliving her, Mad Magazine days with the spy versus spy hats. Anyway, she could care less. I think she's very happy because she gets another zero on a paycheck when she shows up in person. Garden Fairy. I know a few of those. Question. Florida governor is removing LGBTQ plus and black art from crosswalks, sidewalks, and buildings. Do you see DeSantis' downfall and restoration of these colorful features? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I was just thinking the other day, could you imagine being in Florida and all of a sudden over the ocean there's a beautiful rainbow? What's he going to do? Call it Skywriter? Put a big X through it? Hi, Carl. When will the U.S. enact effective gun laws? In my own opinion, the situation is beyond ridiculous. Thank you. Love your channel. Thank you. Well, it's going to be the thoughts and prayers that make it happen. Just kidding. I really feel over the next 4 years there's going to be some changes. And guns are protected more than women at the moment, so that's going to change. Okay? Within 4 years. Hi, Amanda Sparks. Do you see any whistleblowers coming forward or leaks coming out in the near future that will bring accountability to certain people? Thanks, Arthur. Interesting question. I'm going to say yes to that because I always felt there's some stuff coming up there's going to be some whistleblowers coming up in the military talking about, how Pete's not going to his AA meetings and some other things about him. Yes, definitely some things around Trump. I also see somebody going to be leaking some stuff about Stephen Miller. It's not going to be pretty. But that's going to be a while because they're afraid. But yeah, there's been, yes. We'll just put a colander and sieve out there and, take advantage of it. Good evening, Morgan. Arthur. That's morning. Well, Mr. T. Oh my God, I just saw Mr. T with the gold, with all the gold and the mohawk. Will Mr. T have to sell most of his houses, etc., to pay the bills in court? What will Mar-a-Lago? Looking forward to watching the replay tomorrow morning. You bright light to my day. Well, thank you, Annalise. Annalise is my dear friend in Denmark, who sends me lots of things that my endocrinologist doesn't like me eating. Let's see. I feel the court's going to, he's not going to sell stuff. I feel it's going to be taken away from him. So we'll take it that way. All right. And also, the family and the estate aren't going to be happy. Yay, Jane. Hi, becoming a YouTube member. Thank you for joining. Now, if anybody doesn't know, my members get 2 live shows a month where they can ask just about anything, except a lot of numbers. And then they get early to any videos or anything else that I'm doing. And I also put polls up and ask them their opinions on certain things that I do with the channel. So, and it's also 20% off for readings for members. So, welcome to the club. Hi, Marge. Hi, Arthur. Are the Venezuelan boats that Cankles keeps blowing up really carrying drugs? And will he be held accountable for ordering these crimes? Yes, he's going to get in trouble with this. Look, he wants to be FDR and have, start a war so that he can continue being the president for 4 terms. It's not going to happen. And as I said 2 years ago, you have to be alive to be a president. So, but these are crimes. I feel it will come out. Now, the thing is, they're all the people, the military individuals that did bomb the boats, they can be held personally liable on the civil side. So I was reading that they are now scrambling to try and protect them. So if they're doing that, then they know they did something wrong. Okay? It's going to come out. I would give it a month, and more stuff is talking about when they ask about a whistleblower. That's something else that's going to come out from a whistleblower. Okay? Hi, Trudy. My question is, since all 9 Supreme Court justices are in agreement with our freedom of speech rights, will Mr. Iger cast a decision to allow Jimmy Kimmel's show to be continued? Thank you. I feel Kimmel's going to come back. However, right now, they're demanding that he has to make a donation to an organization that he does not agree with, and a full apology and all that. There's nothing to apologize for. He was telling the truth. I feel he's just going to wait this out a little bit. I feel they have him come back eventually. Of course, things are going to change in the administration. At the same time, I do feel he's working on something where, because he is upset for his, it's one thing to take him off the air, but it's also the producers, the writers, cameramen, everybody behind the scenes. We're talking about hundreds of people. It's not just him losing his job. It's everybody else. He does feel bad for them, but I do feel he's putting something in place. He's talking to 3 people about what to do. So will he return to ABC? We'll see. But he's not going away. Okay? He's not done. But thanks for asking, Trudy. Hi, Pat. Michigan lawmakers have a budget standoff. Will they find common ground to prevent a government shutdown before October 1st deadline? Thank you. I feel, at the moment, I was looking at this morning, will there be a shutdown? I was kind of getting a looming shutdown as possible. It may get averted at the last minute, but also Republicans are not going to like it, but they're going to have to give in something to the Democrats. Because I feel the Democrats are also, they're going to stand strong. And if the government is shut down, they can blame the Republicans. Of course, the Republicans replace the Democrats for everything. But people are getting smarter and understanding what's going on. In the long run, if there is a shutdown, it's very, very minimal. And it gets back up fast. So I don't see people losing like paychecks and all that kind of stuff. It's just like a blip if it goes down. All right. Are Kamala and Biden still friends? Oh, yeah, they go out to lunch every day. Come on. You see the pictures? They're still friendly. They still know each other. Yeah. Hi, Marge. Congress supposedly had enough votes to get the Epstein files released by the FBI. Will they release them? The problem is Kash Patel is making a list of everything. And in the back of the box of the crayons where you sharpen the crayon, it just keeps on breaking. So he doesn't have the list ready yet. But no, it'll eventually. They're holding off on it. They're trying to keep everything away. But in time, the guides say it will be released in time. We want everything in our time, but it's in universal time when it's supposed to happen. So just know it's going to be released. Hi, Songchin. I think Melania is around lately to set herself up as the grieving widow. What do you think, Arthur? I wouldn't, I'll take 5 of these outfits in black, please. The veil's not long enough. I kind of agree with it, but actually, no, I really agree with the fact that she's getting another 0 for every time she makes a personal appearance. Oh, you want me to touch you? That's another $100,000. Shrewd businesswoman. But thanks for asking. Again, every time I see those hats, I keep on thinking of, Spy versus Spy from Mad Magazine. Butterfly wings. Wonder how the Queen feels about Charles letting 45 come there. I just heard a smack in the back of someone's head. What I'm hearing is like she knows he's amusing the petulant little child. The fact they put him in a little gold carriage and then went around the grounds. They didn't even leave the grounds. They just in his little carriage. He's not. Oh my God! I keep on hearing this song. He's a creep. Thank you, Radiohead. Dealing Diva. Hi, Arthur. Do you see the Tom Holman news taking him down? It'll be part of it. I actually feel he's going to overstep. Now, I hate saying this, but I've always felt there's going to be a Kent State type event that can be stopped, which he doesn't. He's going to get in trouble for it and play like he's the victim. But also, they have him on tape accepting a $50,000 bribe, I believe it is. And then all of a sudden, the DOJ is no longer following through on the indictment. Gee, amazing how that works. But everything is just temporarily put on pause. Because when the Fourth Reich goes down and the new regime comes in, yeah, they pick up where they left off. He'll be going down. Okay? They'll be part of it. Chris Mund. Hi, Arthur. What's a Blondie Bondi to do? Will she actually do the investigations that DJT ordered, or will she string him along? Resign, maybe? Thank you for all you do for us. This is referring to now according to Laura Loomer, I know the word illumination is part of her name, but still, that's another thing. Laura Loomer saying that he put out a text on True Social that was supposed to be a personal text. And in that text, he's writing Bondi, telling her to go after Letitia James, to go after all these people, Adam Schiff, Comey, et cetera, et cetera. And then the guy with Letitia James said he quit, and then Trump saying, no, I fired him. But then he alluded that if Pam Bondi does not do what he wants, he has somebody waiting in the wings to be the next attorney general. So the thing is, if anything were to come forward, it's going to be made up information. She knows that and everybody else will know it. So she's walking a tightrope. If there's a safety net, can somebody get some scissors? Anyway, she may try, but I don't see her succeeding. I don't see them able to succeed. You know, I just wish somebody would stand up and say, "Hey, you know what? The new outfit, you're naked." Anyway, just a thought. Hi, Donna. Will Disney company grow a backbone and reinstate Kimmel? I feel there's something coming down. Apparently, it's been reported they lost $3.5 billion with a B so far after letting him go. And a lot of people are canceling Disney Plus. A lot of people are canceling Hulu. And that's one way you get these people's attention. But of course, Trump doesn't care. But again, like I said, I feel Kimmel may come back, but there's some other thing he may come back doing. That type of show. I don't know if it's going to be ABC. Okay. Hi, Terry. Hi, awesome Arthur. Will the truth about the lynchings in Mississippi? Well, 2 people were found hung or hanged. I never understood which was the right word. But one of the gentlemen was on college campus. It was ruled a suicide, but his family does not believe it. The other was a homeless man, a white guy, and this was after the guy on Fox was talking about, when they were talking about homeless people, he said just kill them. So there's going to be much more investigations coming up. And also other people apparently had guns and they went into a homeless encampment and started shooting. This is all going to come back on them, not the left. Okay. Raw West. Hi, Arthur. Will Tom Homan eventually, hopefully sooner than later, face consequences for his criminal actions, including the $50K bribe? I just said that earlier. Eventually it's going to come out. It's going to happen. I know we want things in our time. It's in God's time, universal time, but it will eventually happen. Okay. Hi, Arthur. Are MAGA like MT? Oh, I guess that's MTG. Rand Paul, Cruz, Mace, and Massey being performative with their alleged support of free speech and the Epstein files, or is it genuine saving their jobs? Theater of the absurd. I don't feel MTG cares about these women, but she knows that Trump's not going to be around forever, and she can't keep on talking about space lasers. So, that's why she's doing what she's doing. And the thing with Nancy Mace, when she went and supported these women, but then turned around and started, praising Donald Trump the whole time. So that was that was all fake. People saw her going and crying, but they didn't really. Then they forgot to follow through with what she did. Cruz saying, what he said, and apparently Trump was very furious with him. To be honest with you, I feel he said it to get his name in the press. Don't forget about me, I'll say something. So to me, it's all, it's all fake care. I mean, why don't they do this interpretive dance? That way it would be fun to watch. Hi, Heather. Will charges be brought on DTJ for asking Bondi to find evidence on? Unfortunately, no. But it's an impeachable offense. But again, I always feel there's things that'll, when the House turns blue, there'll be enough to do. Ooh, that rhymed. That's horrible. But they will. They will. They actually will. And that's part of it. Hi, Tweety also. Will the Election Truth Alliance and Smart Election lawsuits get accurate media attention, and will they be successful in verifying the vote? Eventually. I mean, I actually feel like there's there's been a news blackout against anything that they're doing. But there'll be some brave people coming forward. Again, whistleblowers. Okay? And still have, and people have asked me, well, why hasn't it happened yet? Because they just want to make sure they have everything in place, right? Because once they flip that switch, they've got to have all the T's crossed, dot, everything in place. Okay? Suzanne, thank you so much. Or Susan, that's so sweet of you. Hi, Pat Lee. Does Florida Governor Go-Go Boots know how much he is despised? I'll never forget when he went down to that storm thing and he was wearing those white boots. I put on a meme that said who wore it better, and it was him or Nancy Sinatra. Then somebody saying, he wears lifts. I'm like, there's not lifts. Those are his cloven hooves. He knows we don't care. These people, they're spineless. They don't care. They don't. If they cared, they wouldn't be doing some of the stuff that they're doing. I'm in Florida, and I'm scared for my trans teen. How bad is it going to get before we see the light? It feels wrong to tell them to tone it down. I believe in letting one be yourself. I agree. There are going to be a lot of changes within the next year. So your child will be safe. Okay. It's messed up. It's a messed up world. But they have to find the weakest link, and they're going after trans people for that. But it's going to blow up in their faces. I'm telling you. And they're the ones that are going to look like the heartless, spineless people that they are. Hi, Paula. Hi, sweet Arthur. When will the GOP stand up to Trump? Enough is enough. When they feel he's faltering. I mean, right now it's like the monster movie where you kill the monster gets up. So they're afraid. Kind of like, what was that movie, Reddick? Where he's about to kill somebody and the wife says flawless and then he doesn't kill them. Yeah, they're all waiting for him to start to not be able to get up, then they'll go after him. Kind of sick if you think about it. Again, these are entertainment purposes only. We're not going to answer this question. Next question, please. Happy Sunday, Pam Bondi. And note from T. Yeah, we just talked about it, Teresa. It gets archived. Believe me, this will not go away. I see, Todd. You are great, and I'm sticking to this. Yes, a sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Donna, hi, Arthur. May I please ask, will the British Columbian provincial government come back to the table and give the public service employees a fair deal? Will the strike end soon? I have to be honest with you, I'm not fully familiar with what this is, but my guides just said 3 weeks. So that's how I'm going to answer that. 3 weeks. That's the end of the strike. Blazing. Macron lawsuit be successful? What were the woman's? I think what Candace Owen is saying, she's not a woman. Of course, it's going to be successful. Hi, Arthur. I'm curious, will the Supremes get what they deserve? And if so, how soon? Appreciate you so much. It's going to happen when it happens. So when you ask how soon, in time, but it happens when it's supposed to happen. Okay? They will get what they deserve. Yes. And I've always said that within 5 years, we have 13 Supreme Court justices, one for each court. Now we have 9 because we have, at the time, it was 9 courts when they voted them in. Now we have 13. And I do feel there'll be some stepping down when the new administration comes in. Okay. Actually running. Will Fox acquire TikTok? I don't see it. I could be wrong, but I don't see it right now. Real fast, I heard it now. Jitterbug. Hi, Arthur. Will ICE agents ever suffer any consequences for their actions? Who's paying these massive action lawsuits? I'm not sure what you're completely asking with the question, but it's like Gavin Newsom just put in that any officer, federal, state, local, cannot wear masks and have to identify themselves and have insignias. And that's going to head to some fun court stuff coming up. But I feel he will win. I have not read her book, so I can't tell you that, Laura, right? But I've also said that I've also felt she ends up on the Supreme Court. Hi, Linda. With the crackdown on free speech, will your wonderful show and community be protected? Blessings, Linda. I get a yes on it, but I'm going to be very, very honest with you. The one reason I wasn't talking about an assassination was my guys said stay away from her for right now. And then someone called me the P word. So I feel, yeah, we're okay. All right. But thank you for asking your concern. Again, maybe that's why I'm staying away from conspiratorial stuff. It's so out there. I don't want this channel to be, Arthur, ease your mind on conspiracy theories. Okay. Diane, did you see Kash Patel stepping down or being fired soon? Again, people, please stop the word soon. Okay. I said within 3 months, and I still stand by 3 months. Next week would be soon to me. 3 months from now, it's not soon enough, but it's still happening. All right. Hi, Arthur. Do you see any retribution being paid for the ICE raid at the Hyundai car plant in Georgia? Yes, I do. And Hyundai's walked away from the plant. So there are going to be lawsuits. In fact, I was watching Korean TV, and there are 3 lawsuits, big ones that are in the works. And the U.S. is going to have to pay. They really are. Because there were 70 to 80 people in a room. The food they gave them had maggots in it. The food they gave them was unedible. And the water was basically coming from a toilet bowl, from what they were reporting. So, inhumane. And there was the one woman who was pregnant. They made fun of her. The other one was going through a menstrual cycle, and they were basically taunting her the whole time. So that leaves a really good taste of what America is like for the Korean audience. Hi, Nora. Do you see GOP turning away from the orange stain as a result of free speech under jeopardy? It's going to be a combination of things. That'd be one of them. I mean, when he starts to crash and burn and they don't see him getting up, that's when they'll really start going after him. It's like hit him when he's down, kick him. Oh, wait a minute. That's the way Republicans treat Democrats. It's more than just the free speech stuff. But they're going to see that he's vulnerable. And so that's what they're going to do, to go after him that way. But thanks for asking, Nora. Hi, Lisa. What effect, if anything, is Wednesday's eclipse going to have on the Trump regime? By the way, I absolutely adore you. Aw, you're so sweet. I mean, I'm not an astrologer per se. My teacher was. Oh my God, she was the best. I just know enough to get me in trouble. But I know that being sandwiched with these eclipses, I always view an eclipse as being like a wild card. And that people don't realize sometimes they would think, oh, it's an eclipse, so the energy. But the eclipse energy can last up to a year afterwards. So I really feel in this, with what's going down here, I really feel there's going to be a lot of illumination coming forward. A lot of, the veil being lifted on a lot of information. And I just hear a lot like, he did what? They did what? And that kind of stuff. So it's going to be effective. So I hope Costco puts popcorn on sale. Hi, Ladybird. Will Homan ever be investigated for accepting it? Yes, it'll come. They have it on tape. They have it on video of him accepting the bribe. So it's like, that's fake news. No, it's real. And they just put it on hold. But it'll be unfrozen in time. Annie, hi, wonderful Arthur. Where have the Orange Clown offsprings been? I haven't seen them around him lately. Do they feel about his mental and physical decline? I still think they're in the sub-basement where he keeps them when you don't see them, and they're probably giggling. They're waiting. But, they're just going to be waiting for their own time to fall. I really feel he's been keeping them out of the press on purpose. And I still feel cryptocurrency, Bitcoin type of scandal showing up around Barron. Something that he did back in the end of August maybe hasn't been seen yet, but something's coming up, and it's not going to be pretty. And I don't feel he's going to be able to walk away from it. It'd be worse than, oh, we have a Hunter Biden laptop. No, it's more than that. Okay. Hi, Raymond. Will there be any charges of Tom Hallman for accepting? Yes. Maybe they'll put him in a room with 45 other people, or no, 45, with 70 to 80 people with no edible food and no water. But yeah, he's going to get in trouble. Hi, Tarot Ass Backwards. Is the regime trying to set Gavin Newsom up for jail time? Good question. Ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work. Yeah, I feel they're gonna try some whisper campaign and just a lot of BS. And it's like, like when I see Gavin, he's playing, third dimensional chess. They still have the chalk. They're writing little squares on chalk to play hopscotch. So yeah, they can try. It ain't gonna work. But great question. Hi, DM Pryor. Will Americans ever stop believing every conspiracy theory on both sides and finally have common sense? Oh my God, I hope so. But then what is Fox News going to do? Become the next QVC? Oh, wait a minute. They're already selling stuff. Never mind. Hi, Helen. You became a member today. Thank you so much. Welcome to the club. I'm doing a members only show this coming Friday at 5:30 Pacific time. So join us. Raymond, what will happen to Ghislaine? People say, how do you pronounce her name? I pronounce it the female pedophile. Will she be pardoned before 45 leaves, or will she, or fate be determined by the next administration? I don't see her getting pardoned. I mean, I feel it's in the works, but at the last minute, I don't feel it's going to happen. And I feel she loses her space at that, club fed that she's at right now. So we will see. Hi, Tara. Is Donald Trump going to target Ron Paul for his dissent? Do you see a shakeup in Kentucky politics? I was going to say over what's his name? I can't say that. They'll take me off YouTube. He can try, but the thing is, the more Trump starts complaining about somebody, they realize, oh, he's just having a temper tantrum because they don't believe with him. I was going to say, shake up. Well, it'll probably happen over Mitch McConnell's dead body. Oh, that's not too far away. Entertainment purposes only. Hi, Polly. Hi, Arthur. The woman who called ICE the Korean workers in GA is running for Congress. What do you see happening? I don't see her apologizing. I don't see her winning. Coffee Bean 13. Hi, Arthur. I'm in Washington State. Will we be gerrymandering here to elect more Dems to offset the GOP? I'm saying yes to that. Even before I finished the question, I heard a yes. So yes. Hi, Annie. Will the military or National Guard go after people if the orange clown orders them to? Unfortunately, some of them may. This is where I tell everybody, Subway should have a 2-for-1 sale. You buy a Subway for you, then you buy a Subway for your favorite National Guard. You can toss it at them until they catch it. So anyway. But yeah. Buddy Byrne. What's the energy in New Mexico after universal health and child care for children? This, to me, is a story that does not get enough coverage. This is wonderful, where New Mexico is taking care of their children, universal health. And I feel there's going to be 6 more states over the next year and a half going to be following suit. And it works. It's going to work. And I think it's brilliant. It's not getting enough airplay. But the bottom line is children's lives are going to be saved. Hi, Sharon. Will flu season be more lethal this year? Well, if you listen to Glowworm Kennedy, it would be like, as long as you don't get a vaccine, you'll be fine. I'm not going to say yes or no. I just say, if you feel like you need to get a vaccine, I would say get it. Will Puerto Rico and DC become states, and when approximately? I've said that I feel yes on this, and both within 10 years. Probably sooner. Okay. Lillian, are vaccine for flu and COVID safe in California? Yes, I feel they are. Raymond Arthur, will Stephen Miller be held accountable for his misdeeds and evil? Yes, they're going to make him star in Dancing with the Stars. It's going to catch up to him, yes. And he's going to blame everybody else. He's such a coward. Entertainment purposes only. He hides behind. He's the kind of guy that would probably start a fight with somebody, then go to his friend and beat them up for me. Scaredy cat. He's going to serve time. Will Newsom and Vance be the nominees for president in 2028? Would love to see that debate. Well, unfortunately, we'd have to give 10 points for best makeup. Maybe we'll go to Newsom. I don't see him debating. I don't feel Vance is going to be around to debate. Co-conspirators do get indicted, Isabel, well, thank you for joining. Yay, it's going to be a fun Friday night. Lillian, dear Arthur, are vaccines and flu and COVID safe in California this year? Yes, I feel they are. I plan on getting mine. Allison knows. Will the billionaire class dissolve into less than they are now? In time. Because it's greed. They don't care about anybody. They really, really don't. The only way they're going to give to a hospital is if they get a good tax write-off. Not, and get, and the vulgarity of being popular with, showing how good they are. But eventually I feel people will realize the billionaires are the 1% of the country. And what's the percentage? It's this 1% that's destroying the country. And people are waking up. That's why they keep on trying to divide us. It's gonna work. Hi, Jane. Do you see Hyundai moving factory to California? I don't see them doing anything at the moment. No, I don't see it. I feel they just want to take everything out of the United States, period. What do you see happening in the protest in October? October 18th. I actually feel it being very successful. I also feel some people may try and be the aggressive jocks that they once were in high school, but now they're big and fat. And nobody respects them. And there'll be lots of pictures, and people will embarrass them, and they'll step down. I don't see a lot of people being arrested. They can try, but there's going to be too many eyes on everybody. And a lot is going to happen between now and October 18th. I'm telling you, there's stuff going to come down. So they do not have as much power as they think they do. Okay? Thanks for the question. Hi, Sherry. Tim Walz just announced he was running a third term. Will he win? Yes. Plain and simple, yes. Isn't that great? And we've got 1743 in the room. Thank you for stopping by. Okay. Anything else? I think we have time for one more question, if you have one more. In the meantime, I was teasing everyone. Want to see my impersonation of Donald Trump? Looks just like him, doesn't it? I had to get an IV this week, and yeah, my veins are pretty close to the surface, and this is what came out. So they guys, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, it's okay. I won't look like Donald Trump. He goes, you don't have enough makeup. Will the Election Truth Alliance and Smart Election lawsuit get accurate media attention? Yeah, we answered this earlier, and I say yes. I say yes on this in time. All right. So I'm going to wind the show down now. Will California follow New Mexico lead in the children's health care? I believe so. Like I said, Melissa, I feel there's going to be 6 states in the next year and a half that start. They may not actually get it done. They're going to start implementing and getting everything put in place, because it was how they structured their taxes and everything to get this done. And I feel it's going to happen. So yeah, congratulations, New Mexico. Okay. Do you see hurricane coming? It's been quiet. Thank you. You know, I was just talking to some other people about this morning. I still see hurricane activity. I still see some flooding. I don't see loss of lives. I do see there's some things that will be need new construction. But, I also want to bring up, last week, someone asked if I felt there would be a hurricane hitting Mar-a-Lago, and my tease was, oh my God, this is where the power of prayer comes into play. Well, I got all these people saying, how could you wish this upon the people that live in Florida? It was a joke, people. I just wanted the hurricane just to go over one little house. That's it. Or, you know, it still amazes me that there's no yellow tape around that place, because wouldn't that be considered a crime scene? Anyway, so yeah, so I'm not praying for a hurricane to hurt people. Just one building. Okay. Thank you, Arthur. Your insight is brilliant. Really? I was called dull in high school. Rockland County, New York case tomorrow, reelected interference. Okay, well, we'll keep a track of that, everyone. Hi again, Arthur. Will the Supreme Court reverse the immunity clause in time? In time. But it's like in Ghostbusters, where they're trying to put all the ghosts back in that little box. But it will be done. Okay? So listen, thanks for stopping by on this wonderful Sunday. We're all going to get through this, as I always say. So just be vigilant, take care of yourself, take care of others, and try and have some fun. Try and get outside before the clocks change. And also just laugh a little bit. And don't go down the rabbit hole with these conspiracy theories. Don't watch TV 24/7 unless you've been watching something like Beavis and Butthead. Maybe. Or something. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody did ask about Trump's kids, didn't they? Never mind. So just have fun. All right? And we'll be here next week. Tomorrow I'm taping a show with Linda G. Tuesday I'll be with Valerie, Dragonfly Crystals, personal questions. Wednesday with Marina from Heart. And that will be personal questions. And then Friday is members only. Okay? So just, I'm around. You need me. And if anybody's looking for readings, I do have openings in October. And where is it? Okay, so check out ArthurEaseYourMind.com. I'll take it from there. All right, people. So again, thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you. All right. Bye-bye.